Whenever we talk about AI, our minds almost always jump straight to sci-fi. But what if the real story of AI isn't about some wild future it's going to create, but about the present it's forcing us all to finally see? So today, let's explore a totally different take on AI, one that's way less about killer robots and way more about the invisible architecture of the world we're living in right now.
I mean, we've all seen the movies, right? We've heard the stories. The main idea out there is that one day, artificial intelligence is going to wake up, see humanity as a problem, and just decide to take over. And it's this powerful and, let's be honest, pretty terrifying image that just dominates almost every single conversation we have about this technology.
Okay, but hold on a second. What if focusing on a robot rebellion makes us miss the entire point? The argument we're diving into here is that the true disruption isn't about what AI is going to do to us, but what it's revealing about the world that we've already built. So, to really get this, we've got to rewind a bit. We have to look at the invisible rulebook that pretty much ran humanity for thousands of years. For most of our history, you see, our growth wasn't limited by some grand plan, but by the harsh, simple facts of nature. And this slide, wow, it really lays it all out. On one side, you have these brutal but super effective feedback loops from the past. Disease, famine, constant conflict, even just where you were born. These things weren't just bad luck. They were basically nature's guardrails, keeping everything in check. But then, in what is probably one of our greatest achievements, we, modern civilization, started systematically taking apart every single one of them.
And here's the kicker. We tore down that old system of checks and balances, and we never bothered to design a new one. We built this world of unbelievable complexity, but in doing so, we accidentally removed the very things that kept it from just spinning out of control.
So that brings us to the next big idea. Our world isn't just complex, it's become dangerously fragile. And the crazy part is, this wasn't an accident. We actually designed this fragility into the system, all because we were chasing efficiency.
Okay, the magic word here is redundancy. Just think of it like a safety net or a cushion. In nature, redundancy is literally everything. Having multiple food sources, genetic diversity, it's what lets life get through a catastrophe. But in our modern way of thinking, especially in economics, redundancy, extra supplies, spare parts, backup staff, it's all just seen as inefficient. It's waste that needs to be cut. And this shows you exactly how we did it step by step. So instead of sturdy, local supply chains, what do we have? These hyper-efficient, just-in-time global systems. We optimized our energy grids for the lowest possible cost, not to be resilient when things go wrong. We've stripped out any extra capacity, any spare labor from our most important systems, all to squeeze out a tiny bit more profit.
This quote from the source material, man, it just hits the nail on the head. By getting rid of all those buffers, what we're really doing is we're removing the system's ability to take a punch. We're removing its ability to bend instead of just snapping. We're removing forgiveness. And look, it's really important to get this. This isn't about blaming capitalism or socialism. The argument is that it doesn't matter what ism you pick. When human societies get big enough and complex enough, they all slam into the same wall. Elites pop up to manage everything, and efficiency always starts to win out over resilience. It's a fundamental problem of scale.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, where the heck does AI fit into all of this? Into this picture of a complex, super fragile world? Well, this is where the whole story flips. AI isn't the bad guy we're all afraid of. It's the mirror we never knew we were looking for.
This slide puts the whole argument right here, side by side. The myth is that AI is this outside force coming to take over. But the reality, or at least the one this argument presents, is that AI is a tool. It's a mirror that, for the first time in history, gives everyone the power to see and understand the deep, hidden patterns of the very systems we live in. See, the power of AI isn't that it's going to convince us of anything. Its real superpower is just recognizing patterns. It can sift through mountains of data and simply show us what's really going on, how the money really flows, where the power really is. It just slices right through all the noise, all the official stories, and reveals the raw mechanics of the system. And what happens when it does that? Well, it leads to something really fascinating and honestly kind of scary. It's not a big, loud revolution. It's a quiet disengagement. As millions of people, all on their own, use these tools to see the same cracks in the system, their faith in the old explanations, it just kind of dissolves. They don't march in the streets, they just check out. They have fewer kids, they pull their money out, they do the absolute bare minimum to get by.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most unsettling piece of this puzzle. What happens when everybody can suddenly see the problem, but absolutely no one has a good solution?
This right here, this is the real crisis. It's not that people are ignorant, it's not even that they're angry. The most dangerous moment is when you have widespread awareness of a problem combined with a total lack of a believable alternative. It's like we can all see we're driving towards a cliff, but nobody has a map for a different road. And this quote just nails that idea. The real revolution, it isn't loud. It's not happening out in the streets with signs and chanting. It's happening quietly, inside the heads of millions of people, as they all come to the same conclusion. The old stories just don't add up anymore.
And once you see that, you arrive at a pretty huge conclusion. The fix isn't as simple as voting for a different party or trying out a new ism. The problem is baked right into the architecture of our massive global systems. The fundamental design itself is what's broken.
So we're left with this massive, unavoidable question. It's the challenge of our time, the one AI has finally forced us all to look at. If our current way of doing things is too fragile, and we obviously can't go back to the brutal systems of nature, what's next? How do you build something new, something that's both humane and strong? Yeah, history doesn't really give us a playbook for this one. But now, thanks to this giant mirror that AI is holding up, we can't pretend we don't see the question anymore.